Good Garvey morning, brothers and sisters. This is your big brother, Intercontinental Ifatunde, coming to you with a very special end of the school year edition of the Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad, where we help steal black boys and girls away from the enslavement system of mental education, special education, and mental health exploitation. I am the chief conductor of the Underground Railroad, DR.UMAR Ifatunde. This is the Black Parent Teleconference. Again, we send condolences to the family, friends, community in Buffalo, New York, who had to deal with an unfortunate massacre a few days ago. President Joe Biden and his wife are on their way to Buffalo this morning. President Joe Biden and his wife are on their way to Buffalo this morning. President Joe Biden and his wife are on their way to Buffalo. I don't understand why Vice President Kamala Harris is not coming. I don't understand why Vice President Kamala Harris is not coming. When the Asian parlor murders took place, both the president and the vice president showed up. Both the president and the vice president showed up in Atlanta, but today it would only be the president and his wife. Buffalo, New York, I hope y'all plan to show up and show out. Buffalo, New York, I hope y'all plan to show up and show out. There's 3 questions you must ask the president. There are 3 questions, at least 3 questions, you must ask the president. Question number 1, where is our executive order on anti-American African hate crimes? Where is it? You gave the Asians one right after the Atlanta parlor murders. Where is our anti-black hate executive order? Where is it? You did it for them. The Buffalo massacre was proven, undeniably so, to be based on racial genocide. Where is the executive order from the White House on anti-black hate in this country? That's your first question. Don't let him tell you that there's already a federal hate crimes bill. Don't let him tell you that there's already a federal hate crimes bill, because there was already a federal hate crimes bill before he signed the anti-Asian hate executive order. So if he's going to use the federal hate crimes bill as an excuse, why did you sign the anti-Asian hate executive order? Because there was already a federal hate crimes bill. Why did you need to give the Asians their own anti-hate executive order? If the Asians can get their own anti-hate executive order, black people need to get their own anti-hate executive order. That's number 1. Number 2, where is our congressionally approved COVID-19 hate crimes bill? You gave the Asians, in addition to your executive order, you gave the Asians, U.S. Congress passed the COVID-19 hate crimes bill. So they got the executive order from you, and then they got a hate crimes bill from Congress. Where is the anti-black hate crimes bill from Congress? We want the same energy. We want the same energy you gave the Asians. We've been getting killed longer, far longer, and far worse than Asians. If they get an anti-hate crimes bill just for them. See, that Emmett Till lynching bill is for anybody. The Emmett Till lynching bill is for anybody. The Emmett Till anti-lynching bill is for anybody. The James Byrd bill is for anybody. Those are not just for black people. But the executive order you signed, just for Asians. The COVID-19 hate crimes bill, just for Asians. So we want an executive order against black hate. We want our congressionally approved hate crimes bill just for black people. Just for black people. And the third thing we want Third thing y'all did for the Asians, you, Mr. Biden, White House initiative on Asians and Pacific Islanders. White House initiative on Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. We want our initiative on Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. We want our initiative on African Americans. Where is the White House initiative on the safety and success of American Africans? White House initiative on the safety and success for American Africans. Buffalo, force those questions. Don't let him out the corner. Don't leave it up to your mayor. He's not going to do it. They own him. Don't leave it up to your city council. They're not going to do it. They own them. Don't leave it up to your mayors. They don't care. They're too comfortable living off your Jesus money. You have to show up and show out. Brothers and sisters, tomorrow is the 97th solar return. Tomorrow is the 97th solar return of the greatest Pan-Africanist in this country since since the most honorable Marcus Garvey. That's El-Hajj Malik Al-Shabazz Malcolm X. Tomorrow is the 97th solar return of the greatest since Garvey, El-Hajj Malik Al-Shabazz, who was the first in this country since Garvey to pick up the Garvey initiative to take America to world court for its treatment of American Africans and to demand reparations as a result of the historic acts of genocide against us as a race. That's why Malcolm was murdered. He formed the Organization of Afro-American Unity to prepare us to join in with the African Union, brothers and sisters. Malcolm X, a child of the Garvey movement. Malcolm X, whose mother used to write for Garvey's Negro World. Malcolm X, whose father was a division head for the Honorable Marcus Garvey, whose father was murdered doing the work of the most Honorable Marcus Garvey in the cause of African redemption. Malcolm X, whose father wrote the letter to President Calvin Coolidge demanding Mr. Garvey's release from prison. It was Malcolm X's father. It was Malcolm X's father. It was Malcolm X's father who wrote the letter to the President of the United States demanding an exoneration for the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. Let's get into the Black Parent Teleconference. Shall we get into the Black Parent Teleconference? 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 Today, brothers and sisters. Today, brothers and sisters. Today, brothers and sisters, 68 years ago, I believe it was, May 17th, 1954, the U.S. Supreme Court banned the use of race as a factor in public education. 68 years ago, May 17th, 1954, May 17th, 1954, May 17th, 1954, 68 years ago, the United States Supreme Court banned the use of race as a factor in public education. That was 67 years ago. 25 years ago today at Millersville University, 25 years ago today, May 17th of 1997, I earned my first 2 college degrees, my first 2 undergraduate bachelor's degrees from Millersville University, a Bachelor of Science in Political Science and a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. 25 years ago today, the Prince of Pan-Africanism earned his first 2 college degrees, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, Bachelor of Science and Political Science. 67 years ago, school desegregation became the law of the land due to the work of Thurgood Marshall and Charles Hamilton Houston with the Brown versus Board of Education Supreme Court decision. Let's get into the calls. Hit the Cash App. Hit the Cash App. Hit the Cash App, brothers and sisters. Hit the PayPal. Hit the PayPal, brothers and sisters. Hit the Cash App. If you got a question, 215-989-9858. Ladies, I need y'all to hold off on being naughty. It's too early to be naughty. I done already got a naughty pick at 6:30 in the morning. Ladies, I need y'all to hold off on being naughty. I done got a naughty pick already. Go take you a cold shower, my beautiful African queen. Go take you a cold shower. Tamika said, how do you feel about Nelson Mandela divorcing Winnie Mandela? He didn't have a choice. They told him to divorce Winnie Mandela. And the woman he married, if memory serves me correctly, was also married to Samora Machel. Okay, the former leader of Mozambique. Samora Machel was his wife. And some people believe she helped get him set up for his assassination when the plane crashed. Many believe the plane crash of the late great Pan-Africanist Samora Machel was an execution, an assassination. Some people believe Samora Machel's wife had a hand in that conspiracy. And so the white power structure arranged for Nelson Mandela to marry Samora Machel. Now, why would Nelson Mandela marry the widow of a previously assassinated African president? I don't think that was a good idea. Why would Nelson Mandela marry the widow of a previously assassinated African leader? I don't think that was a good decision, but I think he was forced to marry her. Any questions today? How you doing there, sister?
I'm good. How are you?
All is well, all is well. Obviously, our condolences to you and the rest of the Buffalo, New York community as a result of that racial massacre that took place a few days ago. What is the temperature in the climate of our people right now in Buffalo? We know President Biden will be on the ground today. What's going on right now in Buffalo, New York?
Right now, it's very mellow right now. But we waiting for Biden to touch down. We just waiting. At this point, and I just tell everybody, just wait. Don't do nothing, because we know how people move when we in our emotions. So just wait. Let this verdict come out. If they do the right thing, let it go. If they don't, God know what happened.
Understandably. Go right ahead with your question.
My question is, I have a 10-year-old. He's in the 4th grade. He's been going to school since he was in K-5. I want to say last year, I just found out he was like way behind. The teachers that he had been pushing him along until he came across this black teacher he had, and she been like catching him up and reading through his paperwork and like telling admin that he's behind in his reading and his math. And the previous teacher, she just pretty much pushed him along and pushed his IEP along, saying that he's doing good, which he really wasn't. Wait a sec.
You mentioned IEP. What grade is he in? 4th?
He's in a self-contained.
What grade is he in?
4th grade.
He's in the 4th grade. He got an IEP for what disability?
He has a learning disability. He has
learning disability in what area? Learning disability in what skill?
In reading, I believe.
In reading, you believe. You need to know for sure. You can't believe. You got to know. 5 things every black special ed parent must know. You should know them by heart without looking at no paper. What are your children's disabilities? How much special ed service they get? When was the last time they got evaluated? When is the next IEP? And if there's any related services that they are getting on their IEP. Those things, you got to know them. So you got to find out for sure, what is your son getting special ed for? We can't guess. We got to know why they in special ed in the first place. But go ahead.
He's in there due to behavior.
Okay, now you just said he's in there due to behavior. So which one is it? Is it behavior or is it a learning disability?
It's both.
It's both. Well, let me say this about behavior. You can't go to special ed for behavior. I want you to understand what I'm saying. You cannot legally, you cannot put a kid in special ed for behavior. Okay? Special education is for children whose disability poses learning problems. The disability affects their ability to learn in the regular classroom. If your child does not have a disability, he cannot go to special ed. If your child's disability doesn't affect his classroom learning, he cannot go to special ed. So if you say they only put my kid in special ed because he was misbehaving, that's illegal and he got to come out. Because what schools do is they do put black boys in special ed for behavior, but they do it illegally by doing what? Putting a label on him that he don't really have to justify taking him out the regular class and putting him in the special class. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
So when you say they did it for, you said he had a learning disability, but then you said they did it for behavior. So are you saying the learning disability is a counterfeit? It's fake? Is bootleg, and they just did that to put your kid in special ed for behavior? Or are you saying you really think he has a learning problem?
He really has a learning disability.
What grade was he in when he was first tested, evaluated, and
I got him tested in Head Start. He got tested for ADHD in Head Start.
Wait, time out. You got your son evaluated for ADHD in Head Start?
No, he got tested, and then I sent him.
Well, test the evaluation, pretty much the same thing. Same thing. So, but what I'm asking you is, you got him evaluated, because there's no ADHD tests, right? So you got him evaluated for ADHD at what age?
He was 4.
4 years old. Why did you get your son tested for ADHD at 4? He was too young for that. Why did you do that?
At that time, I really didn't. I didn't know. I was, took him to a psychiatrist. I mean, they had psychiatrists come and test them out at Head Start. Pretty much, I mean, at the time, I didn't know anything about it.
It's not your fault. Don't ever do that again. We should have never done that. Does he take medication?
Yes.
What medication does he take?
I can't even pronounce it.
Spell it.
It's DEXTROAMPAMPHETER. And I'm at the process taking him off it, I don't know if this one's the Adderall.
Yeah, they use it as a substitute for Adderall.
Okay.
They use it. Used to treat ADHD. It works by changing the amount of certain natural substances in the brain. Did you hear what I just said?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to say that again. It works by changing the amount of certain natural substances in the brain. Amphetamine, dextroamphetamine, belong to a class of drugs known as stimulants. Okay, they use it to help you pay attention, stay focused, control behavior. Okay, now let's look at the side effects. How long he been on this medicine?
We just started this one last week.
Last week?
Yeah.
What was he on before that?
He was on I can't pronounce.
Not clonidine.
What do you say?
What was he on before? Concerta? Clonidine?
Yeah, Concerta, Vyvanse.
Vyvanse, Concerta. How many different types of drugs your son has taken?
2.
2 different types of drugs.
This one.
And how old is he now?
He's 10.
He's 10. He's been on the med since 4.
Yes.
6 years of brain damage. Okay, listen. Side effects: nervousness, headache, changes in sex drive. That means it affects his testosterone. It will affect his testosterone when he goes through puberty and becomes a young man. Dry mouth, constipation, diarrhea, nausea. Okay, and listen to this. It also says that the drug can be habit forming, which means it's addictive. Irregular heartbeat, sweating, dilated pupils, excited mood, restlessness, irritability, difficulty falling asleep, hostility, aggression, anxiety, loss of appetite, loss of coordination, uncontrolled movement, tic disorders, flushed skin, vomiting, stomach pain, thinking about harming or killing someone. Those are the side effects of the drug your son is on. It's crack. He was too young. It's not your fault, Queen. You didn't know. But we do have to slow down. You heard what I said, what the drug does. It actually changes the substances in the brain. Nothing was wrong with your son in the first place. He's a regular, normal black boy. That's all he is. Schools are ran by women, and they expect our boys to act like girls. And when black boys can't act like girls, they want them diagnosed with ADHD and conduct disorders. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
So, you got an IEP. He's had his IEP since when?
When he started kindergarten.
IEP since kindergarten. And that was for the learning disability or ADHD?
For the ADHD.
Okay, when did they add the learning disability?
When he went through the K4, the K5 testing.
Okay. He's in public school, right?
Yes.
Special ed kids got to be reevaluated every 3 years. So if your son got evaluated in the kindergarten was his first public school evaluation, kindergarten?
Yes.
Okay. So if your son was evaluated in kindergarten and he's now in the 5th grade?
Fourth grade.
4th grade. That means he had to get reevaluated in the 3rd grade. So you should have 2 evaluations. You should have that kindergarten or 1st grade evaluation, and you should have that 3rd or 4th grade evaluation. You should have 2 evaluations. Do you have those?
I have the first evaluation.
Okay, so are you telling me that your son was never reevaluated since that initial eval?
Since between moving from grade.
No, stay with me, because I don't care where you move, you were still in the same state. So moving don't matter. The state still got the responsibility. Your son was initially evaluated and put in special ed in the kindergarten or the 1st grade, right?
Right.
Okay, so he should have been reevaluated in the 3rd or the 4th grade, 3 years later. Are you following me?
Yes, he got reevaluated over Christmas break.
He got reevaluated over this past Christmas break.
Yes.
Okay, and that reevaluation reconfirmed what he already had? Did it change anything? Did it add any disabilities? I'm only dealing with the disabilities.
It had put on, I'm trying to remember, I got some documentation. I'm trying to think. For the disability part, I want to say we were trying to add more time for his work and then add more breaks for him to have when he do his work.
Okay, let me tell you what I think is going on with your case. Okay, we made some mistakes because we didn't know any better. He should have never got evaluated for ADHD so young. He should not be on medication. He should have never been tested for special ed that young. Here's what I think. I think your son ain't got none of that stuff. That's what I think. Okay. And I think you might want to request an independent educational evaluation, have an outside person evaluate your son to see if they agree with the disability determinations that the school district made about your son.
Okay.
Okay? I think you need an outside independent evaluation. Now, I also think, is your son in a full-time special ed class?
Yes, we got him right now. Me and his teacher got him going to multi-cat. Pretty much multi-cat, he's going into a certain class. Going to a class with like everybody his age and.
Okay, but he's in a full-time special ed class. In other words, he's not in a regular class. He goes to a special ed class in the morning, and that's where he is until school ends, correct?
Correct.
Okay, full-time. I want you to understand that federal law says that a child should not be in special ed except to the extent necessary in order to learn. Do you think your son need to be in special ed all day?
No.
Neither do I. Neither do I. So the school is breaking the law. They're violating your son's right to receive his free and appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment. He should be in a regular classroom, only being pulled out as necessary if he even needs to be pulled out. Okay? I think your case is a clear case of school to prison pipeline. I think you need, and then you say he's behind. You know why he's behind? Because in special ed, they don't work with our kids. They promise you they're going to work with our kids. Special ed is a prison where you put black boys until they're old enough to drop out or go to jail. Your son's skill level is going to fall further and further behind because he's not being taught. Okay? So you have a fate issue. You have a least restrictive environment issue. You got a possible misclassification issue. I also think the school is going to owe you compensatory education. I think the school is going to owe you compensatory education for all the years your son was in special ed and did not get the help that he needed. I'm glad you reached out to me in 5th grade instead of 10th grade. I'm glad you reached out to me. Let me tell you what I think you need to do, and it's totally up to you. I've told you what you need to do, but you might need to text me outside of this call and pay my $75 fee. Send me your son's evaluation reports so I can go over them and tell you whether they are BULLSHIT or not, right? And then have you draft your letter for the independent educational evaluation that I will review before you submit it. And then I will help walk you through this process of getting your son either out of special ed altogether or at least have his special education service reduced so he's getting his regular education in the regular class with his regular education peers. Because if you keep him in his full-time special education classroom, by the time he gets to high school, he will not be academically functional. He will not get a diploma, and he will be another casualty of the school to prison pipeline.
Okay. Because that's what his teacher, like, we trying to get him out from class because we told him, like, there's no reason for you to be here.
Well, I don't think his teacher is your friend. I don't think his teacher is your friend, because if his teacher cared about your son wouldn't be in special ed all day long. Now, let me ask you, is he a behavioral terror? Now, if he's terrorizing the school, they may have a little bit of an argument. What is his behavior like? Is he an issue?
No, he's pretty much a laid back kid, but when somebody makes him mad, that's the temper.
How many times he been suspended this school year?
He just got suspended 2 times. He hadn't been suspended.
And what were those 2 suspensions for?
One of them was for he had an outburst, and then
neither one was for fighting?
Nope, he wasn't fighting.
He should not be in a special ed class all day. And if they think he's a behavior problem, give him a 1-to-1 aid in the regular class. I think you need to contact me for a consultation so we can save your son before he becomes another casualty.
Okay.
It also sounds like I need to come back to Greenville, where I've spoken about 2 or 3 times, and do a seminar for our black parents as well. In fact, I might do my black parent South Carolina boot camp in Greenville. I might do it in Greenville.
Okay.
All right. So get in touch with me next week, and or next week, because this weekend is going to be California. Get in touch with me next week so we can work on this.
Okay, because it's more. It's more. So.
I'm sure it is. I'm just glad you got me at 5th grade and not 10th grade. So if you want my help, as I said, I charge $75 and I'll walk you through the whole thing. You'll get more than your money's worth for that.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, Queen. Be
right,
blessed. In the meantime, get that paperwork together. Get those evals. I need to see the paperwork.
Okay.
All right, love.
Thank you.
Take care. Lord have mercy. I'm not going to pin my number, because if you don't know my number by now, I've been saving black kids since when? May 17th, 1997. Today marks 25 years of saving black children. Today marks 25 years. May 17th, 1997, I graduated from Millersville University. My phone number has been the same since my first trip to Africa in Leo season 2005. So my phone number has been 215-989-9858 for 17 years. And if you don't know who I am and you don't know my number and you're a black parent, unless your kid is straight A's and B's, if you don't know who I am and you don't know my number and you're a black parent, unless your child is straight A's and B's, I'm going to question your sanity. I'm going to question your sanity, because I'm the only school psychologist who does this in our race. I'm the only one on the planet who does this. So constantly asking me for my number, I'm a little perturbed about that. You should know my number. It ain't changed in 17 years.